This video concerns the valves and a Ford. This is a FC90 Ford mix, and what you'll find is that over time you may have some buildup on the valve seats, and if you have carbon buildup, either you can pull the whole assembly apart and remove the valve and polish and brush the valve and make sure that they're clean, or you can do my technique. Well, first off, you have to set the valve, you have to set the cylinder at top dead center. All right, at top dead center, and put a pair of pliers onto the shaft to hold it in place. Once it's at top dead center, that means that the valves both valves should be seated in place. You put your air hose into the spark plug hole and you load it with 90 psi. The reason you do that is so that you can listen for air out of the exhaust or air out of the intake. If you have air out of each side or individual side, you have air out, there's a possibility that your valve is gunked up and not allowing it to close properly, therefore causing it to run in idle bag. Now you can take it apart and clean up the pistons each part individually to get rid of that gunk, or you can do with my technique. I've done it several times on these Ford mixes, or I have a 4-cylinder over there. What you can do is, or what I do, is up to your mechanical ability. You can grab the valve stem up at the top and twist it. And when you twist it, what you're doing is you're basically grinding the valve up against the seat. Now you say, well, man, that might mess up my engine. No, because this is what you do when you building the engine. You're speccing the engine out for your specification, a high horsepower 4-cylinder engine, and you're speccing it out to what you want it to be. You want to make sure that the valves sit inside of the seat properly. So what you do is you'll put a little paste on the valve seat. You'll put the valve in there, and you'll have a press that you have a tool that you press against the valve, and you grind it into the seat. And what that does, that assures that you have an absolute perfect seal inside of that valve seat. That the valve itself is mated to the valve seat. So when you do this with twisting it, any little carbon deposit buildup that you may have on the valve seat, on the valve seat, it'll knock it off. And once it knocks it off, you just run the engine and it'll kick it out the exhaust. Reset everything and put it back to specifications how it's supposed to be. But that's how you clean your valve seats without having to pull it all the way apart. Just put your pliers on there and twist back and forth and knock all the carbon deposits off of the valve seat. Now you can take it a step further and pour some, and once it's seated, pour some. I'm not even gonna go into that. Let's just focus on this, and that's how you clean off your valve seats.